So for this next series of videos, I'm just going to go through some exercises and some tips that you can use to rehab your ankle after a sprain. So most times an ankle sprain happens when you kind of step off a curb or you step on some uneven ground and you roll out sideways. It depends on how fast you're doing it, whether you get that full flexion that you go over on it or if you just go over pure sideways. So we're going to go through some things that you can help in the beginning to try and get the mobility back and try and get the swelling down, and then in a later video we'll go through how to rehab it and how to get it stronger again. But in the meantime, let's just start with some exercises to get the mobility back and to try and get the swelling down. So you'll notice that when you sprain your ankle, it's usually when you have gone over on it sideways. And there are a few ligaments around the outside of your ankle that give you some stability. They would then stretch if you tend to roll over on it that way. So what we need to do is to try and get the mobility back around this joint and also to try and get some swelling down. So in the beginning phases, depending on how extreme the sprain was, you may get some swelling. Sometimes it's just a general puffiness around the ankle. Sometimes you get like a little egg on the side, and sometimes your foot will swell up huge and you'll just have your little stubby toe sticking off the edge. So that will give you a fair indication on how badly you've sprained it. And in the beginning we just really want to get that mobility going without you doing any more damage to those ligaments. So the first thing you're going to do is literally just work on getting the ankle moving. So if you can sit like this, you're going to try and lift your feet up onto your toes and down. So you can do up and down, you can do out and in. So obviously these may be a little bit more painful, but you would just go to where you can go. You don't have to push through any pain, it's just about getting that mobility back. And sometimes that pain will stop you from moving and you just go to that point and then back off. What you can also do then is sitting, you're going to do some circles with your ankles, so you're kind of going to go around and around. So one way and the other, make sure that you've got full range going all the way up, full down, in and out. And you can build up to that as you like. You can also write the alphabet with your toes, so start with an A, a B, and work through the alphabet so that you get full mobility of your ankle. So once you've had an ankle injury, it's really important to improve your balance. After the injury, there is a little bit of a lag in the joint perception that is read in your brain about where your foot is in space. So you'll feel that it becomes very difficult to walk on uneven surfaces without feeling like your foot is unstable. So what you're going to do is start to practice some balance. Initially, it might be sort of weight bear on your feet or on one foot at a time. So you're going to then just make your base of support really small by taking one foot in front of the other, and you're going to balance on your feet in this position and try and aim for 30 seconds or so without having to step out or correct. So you're going to hold that position. You can rock forwards and backwards onto your feet, front foot and back foot, and you're going to see what your joint does and how you react. So you might see that there might be a lot of movements in your ankle, and that's okay in these initial stages as your brain becomes aware of what is happening with your foot. As that gets easier and the pain settles down, you're then going to switch it up and just go onto one foot. And you'll see that this becomes a lot more difficult and your foot may attenuate to the ground a little bit differently, and you're going to build up this time also up to 30 seconds without having to put your other foot down. If you are feeling very confident in this and you have no problem after 30 seconds and you're able to do this a few times, you can then add the closing of your eyes. So you'll notice that a lot of your balance comes from your vision, and if you take that out, your foot and your joint perception receptors have to do a lot more work. So that's how you build it up in these initial stages of healing, probably for the first 10 days to 2 weeks. And from there we will build up slowly, adding some more dynamics to the balance and some more strength. So give these a go and let's see how you get on.